Linear equations! This is another review of Part 8. In today's lesson, students will learn how to write linear equations when given 2 points on a line. When given what? 2 points on a line. And this time, the slope will be a whole number. I bet you're pretty sick and tired of finding slope. Who's tired of finding slope? Anybody? Wow! We're going to keep finding the slope until you know how to do it. That's just kind of the way it works. So when you're given 2 points, what can you find? You can find the slope, right? And you use the slope formula song to remember how to find slope. So let's all sing that together as one. Are you ready? Let's go. Ready? Go. Slope, slope, change in y at the top, change in x bottom. Very good. So change means subtraction, and if you're going to find the change in y at the top, you have to look at the y coordinates first. Let's all take a look at number 1 on your paper today. Read it with me. I don't hear you reading it with me, and you know what? It makes me kind of sad, so read it with me, please. What is the equation of a line that passes through? We have 0, 5, and negative 5, 0. Okay, extra credit question. Which intercept would this be on? Think about it. You start at 0 and you go up 5. If you don't want x, you want y. So this is the y-intercept, my friends. Take a look at this one. Negative 5, 0. Which intercept is this? If you don't want y, you want x. So this is the x-intercept. So we're using intercepts here just as a review. First, we're going to find the slope. We're going to find what? The slope. And we do it using the y-coordinates first. So please underline the y-coordinates, which is 0 and 5. Okay? We say slope equals change in y at the top. So we have y2, which is 0 minus 5, divided by change in x at the bottom. So you have, let's go ahead and circle the x values, okay? I want to circle them. Or you can put a box around them, whatever you like, just so you know these are the x values. So we have negative 5 minus 0. Interesting. Okay, let's see what this is. My friends, 0 minus 5. Starting at 0, going in the negative direction 5. What is it? It's negative 5. Good job. So you have negative 5 divided by, hey, look at this. Negative 5, take away nothing. What are you left with? Negative 5. Good job, my friends. Okay, so you have negative 5 divided by negative 5. So negative 5 divided by itself is 1. Okay, but because slope is a fraction, we can either look at it this way. We can say, okay, the slope is actually positive 1. Or what? Okay, it's positive 1 over 1. Good, because a whole number you put over 1 because it's rise over run. Or negative 1 over negative 1. Okay? All right, so this is what slope is. Now the thing with this is that because you're putting this over 1, 1 over 1 is the same as 1. Is that true? 1 divided by 1 is the same as 1. So you can just use that top number when you're going to step 2. Step 2 is, what is step 2? It is plug in M. And which equation do you plug it into? Yo mama's ex-boyfriend. Or read it with me. Y equals mx plus b. So let's do that. We say y equals, well, the slope is 1, okay? Times x plus b. Now what we're going to do for step 3, read it with me, is plug in x and y. So you're going to plug in x and y. And which point do you think I want you to choose? Which point? Ah, the first point. Always easiest to just pick the first point. So, oh, I forgot. Let's go ahead and label these, okay? So your slope is 1. Your x is 0. And your y is what? Y is 5. Good job. So you can go ahead and put those in those blanks. 1, 0, and 5. Okay. So we know the slope is 1. Now we know that x is 0 and y is 5. So we're going to start with y. We're going to say 5 equals 1, and then we're going to multiply by x. So we write parentheses, x is 0 plus b. Okay. So the next step is step 4, which is solve for b. What is it? Solve for b. Okay, so we say 5 equals, what is 1 times 0? 1 times nothing. Anything times 0 is 0. So we say 0 plus b. Great job. Now we can solve for b. Let's make a T-bone steak. Okay, we're going to subtract 0 from both sides. Not that you really have to do that, because if b plus nothing is 5, then b must be 5. But if you want to subtract 0 from both sides, that's okay. 0 take away 0 is 0. Bring down the b. Now, what is 5 take away 0? You start with 5, you take away nothing. You're left with 5. Great job. B is 5. Okay, so now we have m. We've had m. M is 1. Remember, m is what? What is it? What? It's 1. And b is 5. So the last step you're all having a hard time with. This is the whole reason why we do this, is to write a linear equation. So we're finding m and we're finding b so that we could write an equation to graph it, okay, to graph a line. So we're going to plug in m and b. Y equals, again, m is 1, okay, 1x, and it's invisible. It doesn't have to be there, right? Y equals 1x, and what is the y-intercept? The y-intercept is 5. So for step 5, this is the equation that you must write, okay? It's y equals 1x plus 5, okay? So now we can graph this equation. Okay, so now we're going to graph the equation. Who's finally getting the hang of this? Anybody? I am. Okay. All right, so the equation was, if you remember, it's y equals 1x. Now, plus 5, right? Okay. All right, so remember, my friends, the slope is 1 over 1 or negative 1 over negative 1, okay? So I'll just go like that, and I'll underline it, okay? 1 over 1, just so you're not confused, okay? And then the y-intercept, or the boyfriend, you start with that boyfriend. He's usually the problem, right? Go to him first, is positive 5. So I'm just going to write b is positive 5, just up here, okay? Just to remind you. You start with b, right? Start with b. On which axis? The y. Make it with your hands. Make it y-axis. Very good. So it starts at 5. Then you put a coordinate point. Everyone has a coordinate point at 5. Let's move it a little closer. Okay, you have a coordinate point at 5. Now we can go either up 1, over 1. I'll go ahead and go like this. Let's go up 1 and over 1, or down 1. And in the negative direction 1. And let's just make one more, just to practice. Down 1, over 1. Okay? So you can see this has, go ahead and get those points. 1, 6, 0, 5. Negative 1, 4, and negative 2, 3. You know that another point on this line has to be negative 5. If you take a look at it, has to be negative 5, 0. So if I kept going down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, guess where I would be? This is the x-intercept at negative 5, 0. Okay? So there's your line, has a positive slope. The equation for this line is y equals 1x plus 5. Let's do another example. Okay, let's go ahead and do number 2. Read it with me. What is the equation of a line that passes through 0, 4, and 1, negative 1? So we need to find the slope first and the y-intercept, okay? But in order to find the slope, you must use the slope formula song. Everybody ready? Why don't you get up now? It's time to get up. Seriously. Up. Everybody. Hector. Okay, ready? Say slope, slope. Change in y at the top, change in x bottom. Good job. So we're going to underline our which coordinate first? What are you going to underline? You underline y because it's change in y at the top. So we say slope equals the change in y. Let's see, y2 is -1 and y1 is 4. So you're going to subtract 4. Okay, -1 minus 4. Divided by, let's circle the x-coordinates. We have 1, start with on the right first, minus 0. Good job. Okay, so let's find the fraction. Let's find rise over run. You have -1 and -4. Same signs, add and keep, right? So 1 plus 4 is 5, but keep the negative. -5 over 1 minus 0, which is 1. So here, my friends, the slope is -5 over 1 or 5 over -1. Good job. That's what the slope is. Very nice. Okay. Beautiful job. Okay, so let's identify really quick what the slope is. We just said, okay, well, we're going to say that the slope is -5, okay? We're not going to use the fraction in our equations. Let's identify x and y, okay? What is x? It's the first point, yes? X is 0. And then y is what? Y is 4. Very nice. So we're going to go ahead and use this in our equations. Okay, so the first step is to plug in the slope. Let's do that into y equals mx plus b. So we say y equals -5x plus b because the slope is -5. Okay, we identified that x is 0 and y is 4. What is x? 0. And what is y? 4. So we're going to start with 4. We're going to say 4 equals -5 times 0 plus b. Wonderful. Okay, whenever you multiply anything by 0, it disappears. So let's go ahead and cross that out. We're going to say, well, 4 equals b. Whoa, 4 equals b. Check that out, okay? Let's go ahead and put a box around that. Now you can do the last step, which is plug in m and b. All right, well, m is -5 and b is 4. So we're going to say y equals -5 times x plus, what's b again? B is 4. So that is your linear equation, -5x plus 4. So let's all get that down and before we graph our line. Of the equation y equals -5, let's go ahead and just make it over 1 so we see the rise over run, x plus 4. Okay, so the slope is -5 over 1. -5 over 1 or 5 over -1. That's another option for you. And then b will equal 4. Start on the y-axis. Where's the y-axis? It's up and down. We're going to start at 4. Okay, now the slope. We have two options. We have -5 over 1. Let's do that first. -5, let's go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the positive direction, 1. Okay? Let's do that again because, you know, going up 5 and over 1, we don't have room to do that on our graph. So let's do it one more time. Let's go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1. So your points on this graph should be 0, 4, 1, -1, and 2, -6. You all got that? Make sure you have those points down. Okay, then you connect the points to make a line. And this line is going down because it has a negative slope. Okay, tomorrow we will learn about creating linear equations with parallel lines. Okay, have a great day.